Welcome to the sequence and series video. We'll learn about sequences and series according to class 11 syllabus. Now, in sequence and series, we are primarily going to learn about a few things. I will list them out first and then we can begin. So, in sequence and series, we usually have three categories. These three categories are as follows. The first one is AP, or it is also known as arithmetic progression. The middle one is GP, or geometric progression, and then we have HP, which is harmonic progression. Now, in AP, GP, and HP, what we need to understand is these are the three kinds of progressions that we can have, but it does not mean that we cannot have any more other kind of sequences. So these are the special type of sequences that we are going to learn, and but these are not only the only ones, right? It's not limited to this, but of course we are going to stress on the first two very much because HP is something that is not widely asked. It is wise to know its properties, but it is somehow related directly to AP, which is why the main focus should be on AP and GP. Okay, let us begin with this. So what is a sequence? Now, a sequence is just a sequence of numbers, a sequence of रियल नंबर्स, क्योंकि हम यहाँ पे कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर की बात नहीं करेंगे, सो वी विल ओनली टॉक अबाउट रियल नंबर्स हियर. अ सीक्वेंस ऑफ रियल नंबर्स a1, a2, a3 up to an, let's say. ना सीक्वेंस कैन बी इनफाइनाइट एज वेल. इसको हम एक सीक्वेंस कहते हैं. ठीक है, तो ये कॉमा देखिए मैं लिख रहा हूँ सो दैट यू अंडरस्टैंड इट्स अ सीक्वेंस. सो इसमें कोई ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म नहीं हो रही है. सो यू आर नॉट एडिंग देम, यू आर नॉट सब्ट्रैक्टिंग, मल्टीप्लाइंग, doing anything. It's just a collection of numbers, and this collection may be finite, this collection may be infinite as well. Now, arithmetic progression is a type of sequence as well. So AP, or in other words, progression arithmetic progression is a kind of sequence where the terms follow a particular pattern. So the AP sequence is characterized by is characterized by the following. तो AP का जो characteristics है वो क्या है? तो AP में भी you will obviously understand कि the terms of AP are going to be just like a sequence, like A1, A2, A3, A4, and all the way up to an plus 1, or कैसे भी, like this will go on, right? These are the terms of an AP. But what is special about this? Why is it called an AP and not only normally a general sequence? Because the condition that the AP terms follow is this: AI plus 1 minus AI is equal to D, where पहली बात है, ये जो I है, I is greater than equal to 1 and D is a constant. D क्या है? एक constant है. Okay. So this is what's special about AP. So the difference of consecutive terms is always constant, which means आप A1 से start करोगे तो एक particular constant होगा for every AP. That constant might differ. So that is why, for sake of simplicity, we say that D is called the common difference. Common difference. Okay. In bracket, you can also write it as CD. This is what D denotes. So for sake of simplicity, we say that D is the common difference, and ये जो terms हैं AP के, they can be written like this. The terms can now be written in terms of the first term जहाँ से AP start होता है, let's say A1, and उसके बाद वाला term आएगा A1 plus D. Okay. उसके बाद क्या आएगा? ये A1 plus D से D बड़ा और, so A1 plus 2D, and then successively the terms keep getting increasing by an amount of plus D, and so on. So what is AP? In AP, what happens? Every term is constant times bigger than its previous term. Or in other words, the difference between any two consecutive terms is always constant. इसको हम कहते हैं एपी. सो लेट अस लर्न अबाउट अ फ्यू प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ एपी फर्स्ट. सो we denote, so this is important, we denote, usually we denote capital Tn or small tn to denote the nth term. ठीक है, to denote the nth term of a sequence. And obviously AP के केस में भी we will use capital Tn or small tn to denote the number of terms. Sometimes we may use different terminology, but this is what is usually used. Okay, this Tn or this Tn is usually used of a sequence. Okay, so पहले we need to find out what is the nth term. So as you can see इस formula में कि the first term is a1, second term is a1 plus d, third term is a1 plus 2d, fourth term is a1 plus 3d. You can already see how fourth term में 3 आ रहा है, fifth term में 4 आएगा. So Tn जो होगा which is the nth term of this sequence should be equals to a1 plus n minus 1 into d. This is my nth term. Okay, and this is extremely important. Now let us talk about the sum of AP. So sum of an AP or sum of an AP मतलब sum of first n terms is what we are going to find out for any n. Sum of first n terms. Okay. Now notice that to find out the sum of an AP, we will use the notation Sn, which would denote that sum of first n terms. और इसको हम लिखेंगे T1 plus T2 plus T3 all the way up to Tn. Okay. Now T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus all the way up to Tn, इसका वैल्यू मुझे निकालना है. So obviously एक AP को आइडेंटिफाई करने में, so listen to this carefully. To understand any arithmetic progression completely, we need information on two things. We always need the first term, which we denote as A, and we need the common difference, which we denote as D. Okay. If we know about these two things, we know about everything of the AP. और ये आपको समझने में दिक्कत नहीं होगी क्योंकि यू सी कि पहला टर्म जो है दैट इज वेयर द एपी स्टार्ट्स. और जब आपको डी भी पता है विच मीन्स यू नो एवरी अदर टर्म, को पता है किसी भी पॉइंट पे कौन सा टर्म होगा. सो यू कैन फाइंड आउट द सम ऑफ एन एपी एज वेल. यू कैन फाइंड आउट विच व्हाट इज द nth टर्म. यू कैन फाइंड ऑलमोस्ट एवरीथिंग, राइट, क्योंकि आपको सारे टर्म्स ही पता चल गए वंस यू नो फर्स्ट टर्म एंड कॉमन डिफरेंस. Okay, so we will from now on we will ensure that we know that the first term is A and the common difference is D for doing any formulas. So what is T1? T1 is A, T2 is A plus D, T3 is A plus 2D, right? And let us go up to nth term, which is A plus n minus 1 whole into D. Notice that there are n, the A's are basically n, right? यहाँ पे n terms हैं और n A's हैं, तो आप लिख सकते हो Na. और फिर यहाँ से D स्टार्ट होता है और D के अंदर आता है 1 प्लस 2 और ऐसे करके कहाँ तक आता है n माइनस 1 तक, राइट. नाउ दिस इज अ वेरी वेल नोन सम, आपको पता होना चाहिए 1 से लेकर n माइनस 1 तक का सम दैट इज नथिंग बट इज इक्वल्स टू D होल इंटू n माइनस 1 बाई 2. ओके. नाउ आप इसमें 2 को नीचे रख लो और इसको लिख दो 2Na प्लस n होल इंटू D होल इंटू n माइनस 1. और फिर n बाई 2 को आप बाहर रख दो यहाँ पे और अंदर लिख लो 2A प्लस n minus 1 whole into D. This is the sum of n terms of an AP. इसको हम ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं. If you notice, इसको हम ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं. तो इसको आप लिख सकते हो A plus n minus 1 whole into D. Why? क्योंकि sum of first n terms में if you remember Tn ये है. This is my Tn, right? And this is my T1. तो आप लिख सकते हो कि sum of first n terms of an AP would be n by 2 whole into first term plus last term. दिस इज ऑल्सो अ वैलिड डेफिनेशन, बट ये डेफिनेशन भी आप याद रखिए n बाई 2 होल इंटू 2A प्लस n माइनस 1 इंटू डी. और इससे बन जाएगा मेरा सम ऑफ एन एपी, करेक्ट. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। तो इसके बाद कुछ रिलेटेड समेशंस देखते हैं। कुछ रिलेटेड समेशंस क्या होंगे यहाँ पे, विच वी विल नीड टू नो इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम्स। तो रिलेटेड समेशंस ये हैं। तो तीन समेशंस हैं, वो आपको पता होने चाहिए। 1 + 2 + 3 ऐसे करके अगर मैं n तक जाऊं, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी n स्क्वायर, क्या कहते हैं, n × n + 1/2। ओके, यू कैन फाइंड दिस आउट यूजिंग एपी। और इसको समेशन नोटेशन में क्या लिखा जाएगा, k = 1 to n k। नंबर 2 मेरा, अगर मैं कहूँ, द सम ऑफ स्क्वायर्स ऑफ नेचुरल नंबर्स, दिस इज नॉट एन एपी, पर आपको पता होना चाहिए इसका वैल्यू भी। n स्क्वायर इज इक्वल्स टू होता है n होल इंटू n+1 होल इंटू 2n+1/6। और इसको समेशन नोटेशन में वी कैन राइट एस k = 1 to n k स्क्वायर। इसके बाद नंबर 3, ये आपका बन जाएगा n × n+1/2 का होल स्क्वायर। ओके, सो बेसिकली सम ऑफ क्यूब्स ऑफ फर्स्ट एंड नेचुरल नंबर्स इज गोइंग टू बी सम ऑफ द नेचुरल नंबर्स का होल स्क्वायर। और इसको आप समेशन नोटेशन में सिंपली लिख सकते हो k = 1 to n k³ एक नंबर फोर्थ में दिखा देता हूँ, विच इज द ऑड नंबर्स। तो 1 + 3 + 5 ऐसे करके आप अगर 2n - 1 तक जाते हो, दैट इज द सम ऑफ द फर्स्ट n ऑड नंबर्स का सम। इसका आंसर आता है n स्क्वायर। और इसको आप समेशन नोटेशन में ऐसे लिख सकते हो, k = मान लीजिए 1 से लेके n 2k - 1। ठीक है, दिस यू कैन डू। तो these are some of the known summation formulas that you can use जब भी आप कोई भी सम कर रहे हो और इस तरीके की चीजें आती हैं आपके पास। ठीक है, ओके। तो let us understand what is an arithmetic mean। what is an arithmetic mean? तो once the theory is done, हम कुछ practice problems करेंगे एंड वी विल अंडरस्टैंड कि हाँ प्रैक्टिस प्रॉब्लम्स कैसे करने हैं अरिथमेटिक के बाद ही। देन फिर हम जीपी में जाएंगे, सेम चीज़ जीपी में करेंगे और उसके कुछ प्रैक्टिस प्रॉब्लम्स भी करेंगे। एंड आफ्टर, लाइक, वी वोंट बी डूइंग अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स इन द वीडियो, बिकॉज जो एक्स्ट्रा प्रॉब्लम्स हैं अदर देन दिस, जिसको आपको खुद सेल्फ स्टडी करना है, वो मैं आपको पीडीएफ बना के दूंगा एंड यू हैव टू स्टडी फ्रॉम दैट। ओके, सो व्हाट इज अरिथमेटिक मीन? It's also known as aim in short. So the aim between two numbers, a and b is, तो दो नंबर्स के बीच में एम अगर आपको लिखना है ए बी, वो उसका बस एवरेज होता है। ठीक है, फॉर एन नंबर्स लेट्स से a1 a2 a3 और ऐसे करके an, द एम इज, तो अगर आपके पास एन रियल नंबर्स हैं, आप उसको, उसका अरिथमेटिक मीन निकालना है, सो इट विल बी इन द सेम वे, द एवरेज a1 + a2 plus all the way up to an whole divided by n. That is going to be their arithmetic mean. Okay, and in terms, so this is the arithmetic mean, and we will understand कि arithmetic means को insert कैसे किया जाता है, how do we make sure कि arithmetic mean हमें useful लगे। We will make sure about that. So let us do a few things first. Let us do a few examples to understand. पहली बात है, अगर आपको कहा जाए कि कोई सीक्वेंस एपी नहीं है, आप इसको इजीली दिखा सकते हो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, शो दैट an equals to n square is not an AP, is not an AP. So these are also board level questions as well, जो आपको याद रखनी है कि इस तरीके के क्वेश्चन सब्जेक्टिव में बोर्ड में आएंगे। So how do you show something is not an AP? आपको हमेशा कॉमन डिफरेंस दिखाना है कि डिफरेंस बिटवीन कॉन्सेक्यूटिव टर्म्स इज कांस्टेंट, अगर है तो दैट इज एन एपी, अगर कांस्टेंट नहीं है तो इट इज नॉट एन एपी। सो वी सी दैट वी सी दैट कॉन्सेक्यूटिव टर्म्स के लिए आप लिखो an+1 माइनस an, मतलब n+1th टर्म और nth टर्म का डिफरेंस, विच इज n+1 होल स्क्वायर माइनस n स्क्वायर, राइट। वो क्या आ रहा है, n+1 होल स्क्वायर माइनस n स्क्वायर आ रहा है मेरा 2n+1, एंड दिस इज नॉट अ कांस्टेंट। क्यों? क्योंकि ये n के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है, which means the difference between the consecutive terms is going to be different for different different terms, right? Therefore, ये AP नहीं है. Therefore, it is not an AP. Okay. So I hope this was easier to understand. तो समेशन के बारे में वी ऑल्सो अंडरस्टूड कैसे इसको सम करते हैं, कैसे हम इसको सम नहीं कर सकते हैं. नाउ कुछ और चीजें हमको देखनी है यहाँ पे विच विल मेक इट कन्वीनियंट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो पहली बात है, दिस इज अ नोट दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. इफ यू आर आस्क्ड if you are asked to pick three numbers in AP, तो आप हमेशा ऐसे पिक कीजिए, थ्री नंबर्स इन AP, देन गो फॉर दिस चॉइस A माइनस डी, फिर A और फिर A प्लस डी. ओके. अगेन पॉइंट नंबर टू, इफ A कॉमा B कॉमा C आर इन AP, तो ये बहुत कॉमन पैटर्न है, सो जस्ट मेमोराइज दिस और आप इसको करके देख सकते हो. वाई इज इट ट्रू? सो इफ ABC आर इन AP, देन आपको याद रखना है A प्लस C इज गोइंग टू बी 2B. इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके. अगर तीन नंबर्स AP में है, देन पहले और आखिरी का सम इज गोइंग टू बी ट्वाइस द मिडिल वन. लेट अस लुक एट एन एग्जांपल. सो एग्जांपल में कह रहा है कि द इंटीरियर एंगल्स ऑफ अ पॉलीगॉन. सो दिस इज अगेन अ वेरी वेल नोन पैटर्न ऑफ क्वेश्चंस जहाँ पे इंटीरियर एंगल पूछा जाता है पॉलीगॉन का, एंड इट कैन बी मिक्स्ड विद एनी टॉपिक. सो द इंटीरियर एंगल ऑफ अ पॉलीगॉन आर इन AP. ओके. तो पॉलीगॉन के जो इंटीरियर एंगल्स होते हैं वो अभी AP में है. दोज आर इन अरिथमेटिक प्रोग्रेशन. सो द स्मॉलेस्ट एंगल कह रहा है कि 120 डिग्री है. द स्मॉलेस्ट एंगल is 120 degree, is 120 degrees, and the common difference is 5. The common difference is 5. Find the number of sides of the polygon. Find the number of sides of the polygon. ठीक है. तो this is my question. Now, how do we solve it? So interior angles of a polygon are in AP. The smallest angle is 120 and the common difference is 5. In order to solve this, we will first assume that let the polygon have n sides. Okay, let the polygon have n sides. और ये जो n sides मेरे पास होंगे polygon में, we will first find out कि the sum of all its interior angles, the sum of all its interior angles is given by. So this is again a thing you need to remember. The sum of all interior angles of a polynomial is given by n minus 2 into 180 degrees. You can say degrees, and this is going to be important for us. Okay. Now, you know that the interior angles form in AP with A equals to 120 and D equals to 5. So again, एक second, again now with A equals to 120 and D equals to 5. So since A is 120 and D is 5, we can find out the sum of the first n terms of the AP as well, right? So how do we do this? So we can simply use the formula S of n is equals to n by 2 whole into 2A plus n minus 1 whole into D, right? Now n is, we don't know, so n by 2. Now we know 2 into A, which is 240. We don't know D, but we don't know n, so we can write 5 whole into n minus 1. N minus 1. Let us simplify this. N by 2 whole into 240 plus 5n minus 5 and this is equals to n by 2 whole into 5n plus 235. That is going to be the expression for Sn. Now this two Sn's should be equal, right? So we are essentially calculating in degree, so we don't need to write the degree anymore. We can equate this two terms, so we can write this as equation 1 and हम इसको लिख सकते हैं as equation 2, or we know that since 1 and 2 are equal, since 1 and 2 are equal, we can write n minus 2 into 180 is equals to n by 2 whole into 5n plus 235. If you simplify this quadratic completely by multiplying और फिर आपको subtract करना है, वो करने के बाद आपको मिलेगा 5n square minus 125n plus 720 is equals to 0. Okay, and now this quadratic can be solved easily. तो आपके पास मिल जाएगा दो वैल्यू n का, which is n equals to 9 और n equals to 16. Since quadratic है, आपको दो वैल्यूज मिलेंगे, बट यू हैव टू रियली फाइंड आउट कि इनमें से कौन सा काम करेगा, राइट? नाउ लेट्स सी कि 16 और n के लिए क्या होगा. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, फॉर n इक्वल्स टू 16, अगर मैं देखूं, फॉर n इक्वल्स टू 16, द लास्ट एंगल A16 is going to be 120 plus 16 minus 1 into 5. So 16 minus 1 into 5, and this is going to be 75, and 120 plus 75 is going to be 195, correct? Or this is not going to be possible since this is greater than 180. This is greater than 180. So this is not possible क्योंकि कोई भी एंगल 180 से ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता since it is an interior angle only. Therefore, n equals to 9 is the correct answer. Is the correct answer. Hopefully you will understand, you understand here that why n equals to 16 is discarded. क्योंकि अगर n equals to 16 होता तो जो very last angle होता मेरा interior angle वो बन जा रहा है 195, which is not possible क्योंकि interior angles must be less than 180 degree, right? So therefore n equals to 9 must be the answer. You can check कि 9 जब होगा उसके लिए last term is obviously less than 180, right? Okay. So अब बात करते हैं about insertion of aims. Insertion of aims. तो aims को कैसे हम insert कर सकते हैं between two numbers. So this topic means that we want to insert an arithmetic means between two numbers A and B. So this is what this essentially means, ठीक है? तो obviously जो सीरीज आएगा वो ऐसे आएगा A, A1, A2 एंड ऐसे करके अप टू AN, और फिर आएगा B, and we want this thing to be an AP. We want this thing to be an arithmetic progression. So A और B आपके पास दो नंबर्स दिए गए थे. You want to insert n such numbers between A and B such that the whole thing is an AP. This is called inserting an arithmetic means. Now कैसे आप निकालोगे what is the value of this A1, AN and all this way? So obviously अगर ये AP है तो I do know again कि first term is equals to A, correct? And I don't know the common difference, but I do know इसमें कितने terms है, n plus 2 terms, और I do know that T n plus 2 is equals to B, क्योंकि जो n plus 2 term है, जो last term है, that is B, that I know, and I know that T1 is A, correct? So then from the definition of Tn plus 2, Tn plus 2 should be according to an AP, first term which is A plus n plus 2 minus 1, that is n minus 1 जो होता है, तो क्योंकि n plus 2 है तो ये n plus 2 मैंने लिखा है, into D. Now let us solve for this. This is B. B is equals to A plus n plus 1 whole into D. यहाँ से if you solve for D, you will get D is equals to B minus A by n plus 1, correct? Therefore, if I write down the value of A1, तो मुझे निकालना है A1, A2, AN basically क्या होंगे in terms of B, A and N, right? तो सो दैट आई कैन फाइंड अ जनरल फॉर्मूला कि जब भी मुझे दो नंबर्स दिए गए हैं ए एंड बी और मुझे एन अरिथमेटिक मीन्स इसके अंदर लाइक इंसर्ट करना है, आई वांट टू फाइंड आउट द वैल्यू ऑफ द अरिथमेटिक मीन्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ ए बी एंड एन. So what is A1? A1 is D more than A because A1 is the second term. So A1 is nothing but A plus D. So A plus D क्या होगा? A plus B minus A n plus 1. What is A2? A2 is going to be A plus 2D. मतलब A plus 2 times of B minus A by n plus 1. And you can understand in a similar way that all the way up to An क्या होगा? An is going to be A plus n by n plus 1 whole into B minus A. So these are the n AMs inserted between A and B. Okay, these are the n AMs inserted between A and B. So we have to use this. Okay, now generally कोई भी kth arithmetic mean इसमें अगर है, I can generalize a formula कि जो the kth term will be the kth number in this n arithmetic means is going to be A plus k by n plus 1 whole into B minus A. Okay, and we will be done with this. Okay, what is the sum? So the sum of all these AMs, the sum of all these AIs, जो भी आपने n numbers insert किए हैं, कभी कभी आपको पूछेगा कि इन n numbers का sum क्या है जो आपने A और B के अंदर बीच में insert किया है, so that the whole thing is an AP. So since you know the general formula, you know the sum of all AIs is, तो इसको हम देख लेते हैं कि sum of all AIs क्या बनेगा. तो let us find out. तो मुझे क्या निकालना है? सिंपली k equals to 1 to n AK निकालना है. मतलब A1 A2 A3 करके an तक का सम. समेशन नोटेशन का यूज हम कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. तो k equals to 1 to n AK का जो एक्चुअल फॉर्मूला है, पुट दैट इन A plus k by n plus 1 होल इनटू B minus A. अब आप इसको दो डिफरेंट समेशंस में लिख सकते हो. पहला आप लिख सकते हो k equals to 1 to n A. दूसरा आप लिख सकते हो b minus a by n plus 1 is just a coefficient जो k के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं करता है. So you can simply write this as this k equals to 1 to n k. अब पहला वाला is just a constant summation which is running for n times. तो ये summation n times run होता है, हर बार ये a को ही जोड़ता है, right? तो n such a's will be added. So this is na plus ये बन जाएगा b minus a by n plus 1. एंड ऊपर हमने देखा इन सम स्पेशल सीरीज कि दिस समेशन इज इक्वल्स टू n into n plus 1 by 2, क्योंकि दिस इज नथिंग बट sum of first and natural numbers. When you cancel this off, you get na plus n by 2 into b minus a, right? Now take n common और आपको मिल जाएगा a plus b by 2 minus a by 2, which is nothing but n whole into a by 2 plus b by 2. एंड देयरफॉर आपका आंसर आ जाएगा n होल इनटू a plus b by 2. This is the sum of all the arithmetic means thus inserted, which makes sense क्योंकि this is nothing but the average of a and b multiplied by n. That is going to be your answer. ठीक है? Okay. So let us do a problem regarding this to understand this carefully. So the sum of two numbers is 13 by 6. An even number of arithmetic means an even number of arithmetic means are inserted between them and their sum exists and their sum exceeds their number by 1 and their sum exceeds their number by 1. Okay, find the number of means inserted. Find the number of means inserted. तो आपको कह रहा है द सम ऑफ टू नंबर्स इज 13/6, तो हम इसको पहले लिख लेते हैं। तो ऑब्वियसली अभी हमने सीखा है कि बिटवीन टू नंबर्स ए एंड बी वी कैन इंसर्ट एन डिफरेंट अरिथमेटिक मीन सो दैट द होल थिंग इज एन अरिथमेटिक प्रोग्रेशन। तो यहाँ पे वो दो नंबर्स में ए और बी मान लेता हूँ, एंड आई नो कि मुझे गिवन है कि ए प्लस बी इज गिवन एज 13/6 एंड इवन नंबर ऑफ अरिथमेटिक मीन्स आर इंसर्टेड बिटवीन देम। ठीक है, तो आई कैन से कि से a1 a2 and all the way up to a2n. ठीक है, a2n are the aims that are inserted, aims inserted between a and b, between a, wait, a and b। ठीक है, नाउ आई नो कि मुझे कह रहा है कि ये जो सम ऑफ द सीरीज है वो उनके नंबर को वन से एक्सीड करता है, राइट। तो पहली बात है, डू आई नो द सम ऑफ दिस सीरीज? यस आई डू, क्योंकि अभी हमने निकाला है कि a1 प्लस a2 प्लस ऑल द वे अप टू a2n, द सम ऑफ ऑल द मीन्स दैट आर इंसर्टेड बिटवीन a प्लस b इज नथिंग बट नंबर ऑफ मीन्स विच इज 2n होल इनटू a प्लस b बाई 2, राइट। तो क्योंकि वो था n इंटू a प्लस b बाई 2, यहाँ पे n इज बेसिकली 2n, so this is nothing but n whole into a plus b, and we do know कि number of terms कितने हैं, 2n है। so therefore according to the relationship we can write that 2n plus 1 जो है, the 2n plus 1 is basically going to be n whole into a plus b, ये जो sum है, this is going to be one more than the number of terms which is 2n। now we can put the value n whole into 13/6 is going to be 2n plus 1। we can simplify this, we can write this as n whole into 13/6 minus 2 is equals to 1, और ये बन जाता है मेरा n whole into 13 minus 12/6 which is n/6 equals to 1, और ये बन जाएगा n equals to 6। therefore how many means were inserted? आंसर n नहीं है, be careful। therefore 12 such aims were inserted, क्योंकि आंसर 2n है, राइट, were inserted, and that would be how we will complete AP। okay, so yeah, more problems will be given in, as I said, with PDFs later on। okay, let us come to GP। so geometric progression, geometric progressions। so again just like in AP, geometric progression कैसा होता है? so the terms a1 a2 a3 all the way up to an and dot 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 are said to be in GP। तो सिमिलरली लाइक AP, अगर एक सीक्वेंस को हम कहते हैं कि ये GP में है, देन वो एक ही चीज सेटिस्फाई करता है, दैट इज an+1 डिवाइडेड बाई an इज गोइंग टू बी r, वेयर r इज अ कांस्टेंट। ठीक है, r इज अ कांस्टेंट एंड यूजुअली नॉट इक्वल्स टू 1, क्योंकि अगर ये r1 हो जाता है विच मीन्स ऑल द टर्म्स आर सेम। तो GP में क्या होता है, द टर्म्स इंक्रीज बाय अ फिक्स्ड रेशियो, which means a GP can be characterized like this। फर्स्ट टर्म आप लिख सकते हो a, और कॉमन रेशियो जो है, कॉमन रेशियो दिस कैन बी रिटन एज स्मॉल r, और ये जो सीक्वेंस है यू कैन राइट दिस एज फर्स्ट टर्म a, उसके बाद इट विल बी ए आर, देन इट विल बी ए आर स्क्वायर, फिर हो जाएगा ए आर क्यूब, और ऐसे करके ये बढ़ता रहेगा। दिस इज गोइंग टू बी योर जीपी सीक्वेंस। अगेन जीपी में द फंडामेंटल्स आर गोइंग टू बी द nth term, the nth term is going to be a whole into r to the power n minus of 1। ठीक है, ये हो जाएगा आपका nth term, this is your first bullet point, and the sum of n terms of an AP which is a plus ar plus ar squared and all the way up to ar to the power n minus 1 is going to be a whole into r to the power n minus 1 by r minus 1, valid only when r not equals to 1। ठीक है, तभी आपको ये फॉर्मूला यूज करना है जब r is not equals to 1, उसके पहले you don't have to use it। ठीक है, okay, so these two are the main formulas of GP। again we need to talk a little bit about geometric mean, कि what is a geometric mean। And this since this is completely similar to AP, but just formulas are different, we will directly jump to a few examples and we can conclude geometric series, geometric progression there, क्योंकि this is going to be same as AP as well. Okay, so geometric mean क्या होगा? For two numbers A and B, their GM is, तो GM क्या होगा for two numbers A and B? AB whole to the power 1 by 2. So product of AB and raised to the power 1 upon जितने भी numbers आपने लिए हैं, in short इसको आप root AB लिख सकते हो. For n numbers, let's say A1, A2, A3 and all the way up to AN, their GM is, आप ये लिख सकते हो as GM equals to A1, A2 and all the way up to AN whole to the power 1 by n. ठीक है, this is the GM of n such numbers. ठीक है, again important point to be noted, if three numbers A, B, C are in GP, अगर तीन नंबर ABC GP में है, then we can simply write that B squared is equal to AC. Again an important point और बहुत important topic है किसी भी question के लिए कि ABC are in GP है तो B square is equals to AC. Okay, so this has to be remembered. So we will also talk about insertion of GPs as well. पहले let us do one example. First. So if ABC are in GP, prove that A squared plus AB plus B squared whole divided by BC plus CA plus AB is equals to B plus A by C plus B. ये आपको प्रूव करना है. So to prove this thing, we can simply take on both sides and try and prove this. Okay. So firstly, since these are in GP, we know that B square is equals to AC. ठीक है, आप इसको ऐसे लिख सकते हो, if you consider R is the common ratio, then B is going to be AR and C is going to be AR squared, and obviously A is A. Why? Since this is in GP. Therefore, अगर ये GP है और if I know the values of B and C in terms of A and R, I can write A square plus AB plus B square by AB plus BC plus CA is equal to A square का वैल्यू A square रहेगा, AB का वैल्यू बन जाएगा A square R and B square का जो वैल्यू है वो बन जाएगा simply putting the value of B which is A square R squared. Now AB क्या बनेगा? Again AB बन जाएगा A square R and B and C is going to be A square R cube and C and A is going to be A square R squared. Okay. Now take A square common from numerator, you get 1 plus R squared, and take A square R common from denominator, जहां से आपको मिल जाएगा 1 plus R squared. Correct. And if you cancel everything off, you simply get 1 by R. Correct. Now this is my LHS. I can write this as LHS. That is the left hand side. Now right hand side की बात करते हैं. B plus A by C plus B. Now what is B? B is AR plus A and C क्या है? C है AR square plus AR. Again ऊपर से you can take A common and write A whole into 1 plus R. नीचे से you can take AR common and write 1 plus R. Cancel everything off and you will get again 1 by R, and this is your RHS. And therefore since LHS is equals to RHS, therefore it is proved that A squared plus AB plus B squared whole divided by AB plus BC plus CA is equals to A plus B by B plus C. This is proved. Okay. Okay. So next is sum of infinite GP. तो आपको इनफाइनाइट जीपी का सम कैसे निकालना है? व्हेन mod of r is less than 1, that is -1 less than r less than 1, then the following series converges. The following infinite series, to be precise, infinite series converges मतलब इसका एक रियल वैल्यू आता है विच इज नॉट इन्फिनिटी। और सीरीज क्या है? सीरीज ये है नॉर्मल जीपी जो होता है a + ar² + ar³ but this does not end at n terms, it rather goes to all the way up to infinity, which means the number of terms never end। और इसको हम लिखेंगे s infinity rather than sn। और इसका जो वैल्यू आता है that is given by a by 1 minus r। Always remember this is only valid when -1 less than r less than 1। r जब -1 और 1 के बीच में हो strictly, only and only then this value is going to be valid। उसके पहले this value is not going to be valid। Okay, okay, so this is the sum of infinite gp। तो एक सिंपल एग्जांपल इसमें ले लेते हैं। लेट्स से 1 + 1/2 + 1/4 + 1/8 एंड ऑल द वे अप टू इन्फिनिटी। इसका आपको सम निकालना है। सो फर्स्ट आप नोटिस कीजिए इसमें कि फर्स्ट टर्म, this is in GP, right? The first term is going to be 1. The common ratio CR is going to be 1/2. It's an infinite GP. So this is my R. Since ये जो 1/2 है ये -1 से 1 के बीच में आता है, we can write, since it satisfies the condition, that means the series converges, we can write 1 + half + 1/4 and all the way up to infinity is equals to GP का formula, which is a by 1 minus r। What is a? A is 1. What is r? R is 1/2। Simplify this and you get answer as 2। This is the required answer। Okay, okay, so again that would be the infinite GP and ये simple होते हैं infinite GPs usually, you just have to find out the common ratio। So I've already talked about this, but I will just refresh this in a new section, technique to find common ratio। एक सिंपल चीज है, always take the ratio of an plus 1 by an। तो अगर आपके पास पहले दो टर्म्स दिए गए हैं, take a2 by a1 और take a3 by a2, this is going to give you the common ratio this। So you can write r is a2 by a1, which is also a3 by a2, which is also a4 by a3। So all of these are going to be the same, which is basically equals to the common ratio r। ठीक है, you have to understand this। Okay, finally insertion of GMs। ठीक है, जस्ट लाइक इन AM हमने किया था। सो बिटवीन टू नंबर्स A and B we want to insert NGMs, that is G1, G2, G3 and all the way up to GN, such that A, G1, G2 and all the way up to Gn, B is a geometric progression again। ठीक है, so again I know the first term is A and I know the n plus 2 term is going to be B। I don't know the common ratio, right? But I do know the nth term का formula, right? So since Tn plus 2 is equals to A whole into r to the power n plus 2 minus 1, that is A into r to the power n minus 1। अब Tn plus 2 तो B है, so put that value in। You know the value of A and you can write this as A into r to the power n plus 1। Therefore from here I get the value of r as B by A। पहले आप A को इस साइड डिवाइड करो and then 1 by n plus 1 रूट ले लो both sides, so that r to the power n plus 1 becomes r और ये आपका वैल्यू आ जाए। This is your common ratio। Okay, this is your common ratio। So therefore since you have this common ratio at hand, you can now find out that G1 is nothing but AR एंड ए आर क्या है, ए होल इंटू बी बाई ए होल टू द पावर 1 बाई एन प्लस 1। जी टू क्या है, जी टू हो जाएगा ए होल इंटू बी बाई ए होल टू द पावर 2 by n plus 1. Similarly, for any gk, it is going to be a whole into b by a whole to the power k by n plus 1. And finally, the last gn is going to be a whole into b by a whole to the power n by n plus 1. Okay, these are going to be your ngms, and any general gm is also given. तो ऐसे आपको insert करना है gms. Okay, so I think this is pretty much clear to you कि कैसे आपको करना है, कैसे how do you have to approach these questions. So we'll do one problem again regarding the sum of an GP to make sure that we understand. और ये again एक बहुत common pattern है, and rest of the questions will be provided to you as well. So find the sum of the series. Find the sum of the series 5 plus 55 plus 555 and all the way up to n terms. ये आपको निकालना है. Okay, so first of all we need to understand what's going on here. ठीक है, तो let's say मैं इसको s denote करता हूँ. So for this kind of number problems we have a very general technique at hand. Let us denote the sum by s. And ये जो s है इसको मैं लिख सकता हूँ now कि s is equals to 5 plus 55 plus 555 and all the way up to 5555, जहाँ पे these are n fives. ठीक है, now you can take 5 common from this. You can write this as 1 plus 11 plus 111 and all the way up to 111 ऐसे करके n ones. Again you can write this as 5 by 9, which is 9 plus 99 plus 999 and all the way up to n nines, right? This is clear. And now every term can be written like this. Every term can be written as 10 minus 1 plus 10 square minus 1 plus 10 cube minus 1, and जो last है that is going to be 10 to the power n minus 1, right? There are n such terms, which means I can write this as 5 by a into पहला जो gp है, this is the gp, 10 plus 10 square all the way up to 10 to the power n minus n. This I can write, correct? Now this is a gp with, now let us talk about this GP first. A GP with first term is 10 और common ratio जो R है that is also R. ठीक है, this is my GP and there are n number of terms. What is the sum of this GP? So 10 plus 10 square plus 10 cube all the way up to 10 to the power n. इसका sum क्या होगा? This is going to be 10 whole into 10 to the power n minus 1 by 10 minus 1, right? This is the sum of the GP. So let us put this value here and find out the final answer to S. So S, which was essentially 5 plus 55 plus 555 plus all the way up to 555 n times, is now equal to 5 by 9, or under I can write 10 by 9. So for this expression I'm going to substitute this expression, which is 10 by 9 whole into 10 to the power n minus 1 minus n. And if you just simply take LCM of n, you get 5 by 81, and inside you get 10 to the power n plus 1 minus 10 minus 9n, which is your correct answer. And this is the sum of the series. And don't worry about the divided by 81. This term inside is always going to be a multiple of 81. Okay, because we know we have done it correctly, which means this is going to be an integer, which means you can say that 81 divides this term always. So there would be no 81 left at the end of the process for any value of n. So this is how you do this number sums. Okay. Okay. So that much is clear again. So now we want to do a few simple things here. So before proceeding to HM, we should know about the AM-GM inequality. AM-GM inequality. So for n positive reals, so this only works with positive reals, ठीक है? Positive reals A1, A2, all the way up to AN, we can write that A1 plus A2 plus all the way up to AN whole divided by n is greater than equal to A1, A2 and all the way up to AN to the power 1 by n. So basically AM of n numbers is always going to be greater than or equal to GM of those n numbers when those n numbers are positive reals. Equality holds if and only if A1 is equals to A2 is equals to A3 is equals to all the way up to AN. ठीक है, so this can be used to find out minimum values और maximum values. तो greater than equal to मतलब जो AM है उसका मिनिमम वैल्यू होता है GM और जो GM होता है ये जो एक्सप्रेशन है इसका मैक्सिमम वैल्यू है दिस, राइट? वी कैन यूज इट टू आवर एडवांटेजेस. ओके, फाइनली HM में कुछ देयर इज नथिंग टू डू सेपरेटली. So harmonic means there is nothing to be done here, no problems to be solved because of what you are going to see why. Because if A1, A2, A3 to AN are in harmonic mean, then 1 by A1, 1 by comma देके लिख लो, 1 by A2, 1 by A3, all the way up to 1 by AN are in this is HP, sorry, are in arithmetic progression. Arithmetic progression or AP, which means whenever you are given an HP problem, so this is going to be an harmonic progression. So whenever you are given an harmonic progression problem, you can simply say कि the reciprocals of those numbers are in arithmetic progression and then solve it using arithmetic progression. You do not need to apply anything regarding harmonic means, right? So this simply means like the illustration would be something like this. If ABC are in HP, then 1 by A, 1 by B and 1 by C are in AP. So any properties or anything you need to prove, you can prove using 1 by A, 1 by B and 1 by C. And since they are in AP and you know कि 3 numbers AP में होते हैं, तो पहला और जो थर्ड वाला है उसका सम होता है twice of the middle. This also holds true because 1 by A, 1 by B and 1 by C are in AP.